Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Convery. I'm thrilled to be here with you today, and I've got an exciting guest who is a University of Toronto international scholar and a passionate about the world of finance and trading. Meet Ahmed Inshal Abbas, a dynamic second-year student at UTSC, where he's diving into the world of finance and statistics. What sets Ahmed apart? Well, his journey, of course. It includes impressive stints in hedge funds, where he has gained valuable insights and even founding his own firm. And if that's not enough, he just secured a co-op position in capital markets division at Scotiabank with a focus on sales and trading. Congratulations. When he is not focusing on his career in quantitative trading and exploring new ways to integrate artificial intelligence into trading solutions, you can find Ahmed playing football, enjoying time at the gym, or with friends playing table tennis. So stick around and let's get ready for a podcast episode packed with insights, inspiration, and a whole lot of student power. Ahmed, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Ryan, for having me. It's truly an honor and pleasure to be here with you.
It's a pleasure to have you. So we're going to start with some really kind of fun get to know you questions, and then we'll get into your story and how you've done so much and where you're going with things. So first, what are your pronouns?
I'm he and him.
He and him. Superpower. What is your superpower?
Superpower. I'd say grit, determination, and last but not least, I'd say it's the way I think. I believe that my idea of perceiving things is a bit different from others.
Awesome. Good thing to have. Good thing to have those insights. Do you have a favorite smell?
Favorite smell? Oh, I'm a big perfume fanatic. So I stored a lot of perfume. I have close to 37 bottles of perfume that I have, but there's no special so on. But it's basically depending on occasion to occasion.
Okay, okay. Awesome. Um, Best compliment you've ever received?
Also, it would be I'm a fanatic. This one time I came across like a bunch of people, and
Yeah.
I basically explained my story to them and how I'm managing things, and they said that you're a fanatic for doing so much.
I would think so. Yeah, that's a good one. It speaks depths of what you can do. We all have a go-to snack, something we like to have, maybe as a guilty pleasure or now and then, but what's your go-to snack?
I'd say since I'm from India, my favorite food is biryani, and it's been with me always. Like if I am happy and if I decide to do something well, it's biryani. If I'm sad, it's biryani.
Could you spell that? What is it?
It's biryani.
Biryani.
Biryani
Okay,
is basically an Indian dish. It's
okay.
it's aromatic rice with pieces of chicken, and you mix it, and it takes like around 4 5 hours to prepare. It's a very famous dish across the
Oh wow.
Asian households, I'd say.
Sounds delicious. Um, what is your favorite holiday?
Sorry,
Your favorite holiday?
favorite holiday? I recently went to Mexico with my friends in Cancun, so that
Yeah.
was pretty nice. So my recent, I'd say that has been a wonderful trip with my friends back, like from different places across the world. With
Nice.
all my friends were from US, I'd say United States and India, and some of them were at British Columbia. So all of us decided to go to Cancun, Mexico. I'd say that.
That's nice. That's nice. Um, I know you've done a lot and been exposed to a lot of financial trading type things, but what was your very first job?
I think I never had a first job. My first job was actually when I borrowed some money from my mom and dad and I started trading. So I'd say that would be the
Really?
very, yes, I'd say that would be the
Wow.
very first introduction to money that I had.
And I have to ask, how young were you when you did that?
I was in grade 10th. I just completed grade 10th. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
like 3 years. I'd
Wow,
say 15, 16.
you
Yeah.
really did jump right into the world of trading. That's pretty cool. I was thinking you're gonna say maybe like mowing a lawn or working at a restaurant, but trading right away. That's awesome. It can tell us it's your passion, so that's awesome. If you had to pick a word to describe yourself, how would you describe yourself?
Obsessed.
Obsessed? Okay, that's a good
Yes.
one. I like it. I like that. Oh, thank you for going through those. So let's jump in.
Absolutely.
Your journey has been both personally and professionally truly compelling. Can you take the audience and us on a more in-depth exploration of this journey and what are some of the key lessons you've learned along the way that might resonate with, the audience listening in today?
Absolutely. I think I'll start from grade 10th. So in grade 10th, I was pursuing humanities with economics. So basically that would be history, political science, economics, English, and legal studies. Those are my subjects in high school. Now, someone would wonder, why did I go from humanities to finance without maths in it or any of the commercial subjects? So during COVID-19, I got introduced to the stock market by my friend sending me an Instagram post that said stocks were on sale. That basically got me interested, and I was like, oh, I've heard shops, etc., like different types of goods on sale, but I never heard stocks on sale. So that basically triggered my interest. And it's so funny that I randomly called my brother that day, and I told him that, we should venture into the stocks thing, and we had zero idea. And he was very supportive of the idea, and he helped me gain funds. And I took that idea to my mom and dad, and they said, no, you need to study, and you should focus on your coursework. But my brother helped me and encouraged me to pursue this journey. And starting then, I traded the Indian stock market for around 2 years. It was a very long journey where I took a lot of losses. I lost around 12 to 15,000 Indian dollars, for a perspective, that I borrowed from my mom and dad. But I was, I'd say, fortunate and determined enough to continue my journey. And it took me 2 years to become profitable. Providing being profitable, I decided to manage other people's money, proven my track record. I took some money and I started trading on their behalf. That's the starting point of AB Capitals. That's the firm that I founded alongside my brother. Moving forward, seeing my journey, it resonated me that there's a big gap in the Indian education system. So I decided to establish Investorporium. That's where I, alongside my brother, trained over 100 students in the field of stock market and training institution. So moving forward now, it was my college time, and I had to pursue a college degree. So in India, it's not, you cannot pursue finance or any sort of mathematical degree without studying maths in grade 11 and 12. So I did my mathematics from Virtual High School Canada, which allowed me to apply to online universities, like online university, I'd say, like in Canada, UK, and the US. I applied to all three of the universities, but my admission to any of the universities or me attending those universities was contingent on the fact that I should receive a scholarship. And I was fortunate enough to receive International Scholars Award at University of Toronto Scarborough, and that's how I am here.
That's
After that,
fantastic. Oh my gosh, congratulations on that. Sorry, keep going.
yeah, thank you so much. So after that, I came to University of Toronto Scarborough, and I decided to pursue my same interests in different sort of field. So I decided to join numerous clubs on campus. My latest was Sustainable Innovation Club, where I am exploring my interest in sustainability in conjunction to finance. I participate in a lot of competitions, I'd say. And moving forward, that's my journey at college. And this right now at college, I was fortunate enough to secure my first co-op at Scotiabank. And I will be doing interest rate trading on the derivatives desk.
Amazing, amazing. Wow, what boy, you've really dipped your toe right into it early. It's really cool to see and it's inspiring. Talking about the Sustainable Innovation Group, how do you collaborate with experts and stakeholders to find and promote those sustainable solutions?
Absolutely. So I think Sustainable Innovation Group is the only tri-campus organization that exists right now in the field of sustainability finance. So we have around 31 members right now. And how do we collaborate is basically we are not a narrow-minded club. That's, we do not have a specific interest. We are exploring and we are open to more ideas. So then, like last year, we did numerous events. For instance, we had a venture pitch where we had investments, people pitch sustainable businesses and investors investing into them and taking that idea. We had a ESG research face-off challenge where we had different teams come up from different campuses. So those are some of the examples. And this year we have broadened the scope of our club, and we have also done a few consulting projects where we are collaborating with different stakeholders and helping them succeed. So as a club, something that sets us apart is our dynamic nature. We are not narrow-minded. We are very broad-minded. We allow every new idea to come into. We have a research team. We have an external relations team. But specifically collaborating, I'd say, specifically in UTSC, a lot of people don't give that importance to the field of sustainability and how growing that field is. Once we venture into this field, we realize that this is the golden goose where the next 10 to 15 years of money is going to be made in the world of finance. Because more or less, climate change is real, and it's going to push investments, company, and everything to the field, to the goal of curbing climate change. So I think this is something which everyone should look into. and start exploring. And I would also say that, the traditional career paths are changing, and
Mhm.
sustainability is being incorporated into every domain. I'd say from tech to consulting to finance to
Yeah.
as small as a restaurant industry, to the restaurant industry where the buildings are going net zero. So it's a very ever dynamic changing field.
Yeah, no, some great insights there. I agree with you. The sustainability aspects of just over the last couple of years, it's popped up in every different job category and industry. And what a cool thing that you've started there with that group. That's awesome. And being a second year BBA co-op management student at Toronto Scarborough, specializing in finance and applied science statistics, sorry. What really motivated you to pursue this academic path? And how do you think that aligns with your overall passion for capital markets and quantitative trading?
I think the first part would be choosing UTSC was
Yeah.
because of the highly recognized co-op program. It's the only, I'd say, one of the only universities in the world that allows students to complete 3 or more work terms and get the experience to lead. That's the line that we have. And I think that really helps because I see other people who don't do internships till their third or fourth year and they barely have seen the scope of real world. And that has allowed me to do this internship that I'll be starting off on from December 27th. So number one would be co-op. The second would be the nature of the BBA program. The curriculum itself is very rigid but
Hmm.
diverse. Like we are forced to take courses which are not everyone's comfort zone. For instance, if you are in BBA, you're supposed to take accounting, economics, maths, marketing, HR, organizational behavior. So by the depth of those 6 different category of courses and even strategy, you are exposed to every domain which allows you to pick whatever field you are. For instance, if someone is very passionate about finance by just notion of watching a movie, they would do all of these courses and then they would realize that okay, strategy is interesting too. I have a lot of my friends who switched from finance to strategy, and they've seen, strategy is pretty interesting. So I think UTSC's this curriculum is definitely one to watch out for, and for anybody who's listening to this should definitely consider coming to UTSC because of this program.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And I think it's really interesting that you tapped into that right away. And I 100% agree with you. I think one of the reasons I attracted to work with UTSC over the years and also most recently as executive in residence was the exposure they give students to these opportunities at an earlier part in their career. And so many different either companies and or schools think about these co-op opportunities like fourth year, third year, fourth year, but it's just as appropriate for our first and second year to get that exploration of what's really out there, right? So it's cool that you've done into that. Talking about co-op as well. Um, I know you tapped into it a little bit, but how has that changed your life? And any ideas or advice to other students when they're considering right now, should I go to school with a co-op? Should I go without one? What would be your advice based on your experience?
I think I tapped this into 2 sides. One is my personal experiences, and the second would be how University of Toronto helps you get into it. So the first thing, once you are in co-op, from day one, you have to take 2 required courses, which basically introduces you to the nature of jobs, and it basically gets you thinking that okay, there is something known as co-op, there is something known as internships. A lot of people don't think about it. What do I mean by think about is that doing an internship is, seeing the current atmosphere, I would say it is a full-time job in itself. From day one, once you are into co-op, they will basically teach you the basics of resume writing. It's not only confined to resume. I'd say it's resume writing. How do you speak? How your LinkedIn looks? What are the certain things that you should do, and what are the certain things that you shouldn't do? In class, you get networking opportunities with senior students who have done co-ops. So it basically establishes the foundation and encourages people to actively think, okay, I should start posting on LinkedIn. I should start reaching out and I should do all of this. So, second, the broader idea of getting into a co op is from day one having not having a tunnel vision, but having a broad vision that, okay, my academics are there, but I need to go out of my way to meet new people, understand fields, and really do it. Because I vehemently believe that it's about what do you want to do in life? College is a part of that. What you're doing outside of college is something that shapes majority of our lives. If I'm interested in finance, okay, what are the different avenues in finance? And that will later down my life will give me the pleasure or will allow me to live a life where I'm enjoying the life. Because school is only for there for 4 years or 3 years, I'd say.
Right.
And definitely you can agree to it as you have a vast portfolio of careers and different places where you have worked in, and it's allow you to gain this experience. On a personal note, I would share that co-op office or the co-op in general has definitely lays down the foundation, but it's the prerogative of a person itself to go out of its way. What do I mean by going out of its way? Is basically having a polished social profile. Having a social brand is very important. For instance, I regularly post about finance, and when anyone goes onto that LinkedIn, it basically gives them a visual image of what am I, what are my interests, what do I look like. So that's number one. The second would be reaching out to people. Definitely reaching out to industry professionals, alumni, and senior people like senior students who have done those internships is crucial. And last but not the least is never to give up. I've had so many rejections during this co-op seeking cycle. I'd say it's more than 50 or 60 rejections that I've faced. And in the end, I was able to receive four, 5 interviews, but I worked very hard to convert those 4 or 5 interviews into job offers. But I'd say definitely it's not for the faint-hearted, but it definitely has its own rewards.
It's such a great way to think through that, and even like sharing the rejections as well, because through that you learn how to be better too through the interview process and other things. And sometimes it's just the number of seats available, but I really thank you for sharing that, because I think for other students going through this, understanding that, it's not for the faint-hearted, as you said. Like this is, the real world, so to speak, right? And things don't always go as planned. And how do you pivot from that and make some changes? But I mean, clearly too, you've done some great things that have gotten great recognition, including the International Scholar Award. And I know I said congratulations earlier, but congratulations, it's a pretty big deal. And, thinking about that, how, like for other students trying to think about how to maybe win scholarships or to get some of those awards and recognition, I know it comes with hard work, but anything you would share about maybe how to think about applying yourself to become someone of an award winner or a scholarship winner to go to school?
Absolutely. I think there are certain things which go across universities because I'd applied to United Kingdom, United States of America, as well as Canada. So I can speak from that behalf as well. There are certain prerequisites that are seen in every scholarship criteria. For instance, grades are number one. I always say that having a high GPA, or like in school, I'd say grade 10th, 11th, and 12th, that's the system that's followed in India, is definitely crucial. Having a good academic standing is number one. Second, that stands out is your extracurricular activities. So I would definitely say a lot of high school students have this notion that they should basically do anything and show that as an extracurricular activities. But I am a bit against this. I would share the fact that you should choose something that you're genuinely passionate about. Even if you're passionate about that deal for like 2 months, it's fine. But that can open up your opportunities in life. For instance, my passion for trading, basically I use that as one of the extracurriculars when applying to universities. And in the hindsight, I see that is basically the standing bone of where I am. That's basically the stepping stone that has defined my career, that has allowed me to learn so much. So, as a high school kid, the first thing you should do is grades. The second you should focus on is having projects or extracurricular activities around anything. It could be finance, it could be as small as basically helping stray dogs to, building something like a NASA project. I know people who have done all sorts of things. So it's about, and it should be meaningful to you because then only you'll be able to separate yourself from the rest. If you are doing it for the sake of it, you'll just be an average person. But if you're going in depth and you're actually understanding, that's the point which differentiates from people receiving the scholarships and not receiving a scholarship. Last but not the least, I would also say is personal essays. Essays are a founding backbone of any university across states or North America. Your essays should be meaningful and you should start early. And something that I did was I approached career counselors that helped me knowing what universities are there for you, what's their requirement procedures, etc. And some of the other things I would also include is LORs, that's the letter of recommendations from your teachers and from your business activities. The second would be being genuine. It's very important to research the university as well, because a lot of people have the notion that, okay, I should just get into any university, but you're spending your 4 years. You should always see, what's the life there? What are students saying about it? There are always flaws and good things about a university. So these are some of the points that I'd say that one should look into.
Wow. Really great. Thank you for sharing. I mean, I think that that whole part in itself could be a podcast, just sharing those insights, because I know so many people don't know how to go about it. But I think the thing I heard the most from you too was the passion, right? Be passionate about what you're doing and apply that. Because if you're just building out a scholarship or an application and things not based on anything that's passionate about it, then it's not all that exciting, right? For you as an individual.
Absolutely.
I think that was some really, really good thoughts there. I also have to say, like, Investoporium, first of all, I, I started this podcast for student voices and bring in other people now to talk about their career journeys. But wow, running a registered student-run stock market training institution, I find that so motivating and so inspiring and so much initiative you took to do that. Um, how, like, can you talk a little bit about that I know you said you did it with your brother, but maybe some success stories or notable achievements from the program? Because I've never heard anyone doing something like that, and I just thought it's such an entrepreneurial, spirited mindset you have. Maybe kind of share a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I want people to understand my journey in a step-by-step format, in a format which is step-by-step, so that they get a macro picture on how everything
Sure.
falls into the place. So the first step is my passion. I was passionate about finance and trading. That led me to have the idea of making Investorporium. What motivated me to do so was my own journey. Because when I was learning on how to trade, there were a lot of resources, but there were flaws in those resources. So my motivation to start Investorporium came from my journey, that I should make a platform where anybody can come and learn how to trade the Indian stock market. That was my second pillar. The third pillar is the execution portion, and which is the toughest. I remember alongside my brother, we devised a curriculum, we made this guide. With the help of my friends, I made a Discord channel. I started posting reels and became a micro influencer. Also posted a lot of dancing reels and the trending stuff. But in my first month, I barely got 4 people to join in. And moving from those 4 people to over 60, 70 people and training them is a whole journey in itself. But what I want people to understand is how those things fall into place. If I was not passionate about this thing in the first place, I would drop in the first month because I'm not
Mm,
seeing results. I'm not seeing any consistency. I'm seeing 4 people. Oh, I'm doing reels, I'm doing Discord, I'm doing everything possible. Why am I not getting? But that's the part of life. And that happens to everyone. But that's where passion, motivation, determination, and the consistency comes in. And the fourth thing is actually delivering a good quality education to people and solving their issues. That's the main and ultimate goal of Investorporium. What we did was basically we devised a month-long curriculum, and something I would now delve into what Investorporium exactly was. It was basically we would ask students to sign up, and they would sign up. They had to pay a small fee, which was relatively very low or less in comparison to other competitors. And why did we decided to take money was if you had paid money, you would be more motivated
yeah.
to attend classes and do it. If I would say, "Oh, this is a free class," nobody would show up. I'm absolutely uh, sure on that matter of fact. So we charged a very small fee, but what was surprising was we had people who were very under resourced, like they did not have a big income, sign up because they had the willingness and the eagerness to learn from us. So in Investorporium, we had these students, we trained them for 1.5 months, but followed by that, we did not treat them any book knowledge. We did not treat them anything that a university teaches them. We taught them how to trade. You open a brokerage account, you understand, and you start making money from day one. That was the ultimate goal of our organization at large. So we got these students, we trained them, we mentored them, we told them our story, we told them the things that we face so that they don't have to lose their money on like the way I lost so much money in trading. They shouldn't have to go through that procedure. And in the end, we had a lot of people who actually became self-sufficient in the end. What do you mean by self-sufficient is that they started with 5,000 Indian rupees and they started making 2,000, 1,000, 1,500 Indian rupees every day. And this amount is a very big amount for people considering the purchasing power. I just convert that for my audience. I would say 5,000 divided by 62 is around $80. You start with $80 and you're making approximately $16. That's a huge return on your
Yeah.
investment. And that is very big amount for these people who come from not so resourced backgrounds. So some of those stories I'd say is we trained a grade 10 student to become financially stable, where he started trading with a big amount and he could afford his own college education based on based on his trading. So there were numerous other stories where people, but the ultimate goal was that these people were actually making money and they saw tangible results in their bank account. So that was the whole story of investor bullying.
Wow, wow, so impactful. And so just hearing you tell this story, I can tell it's in your blood. It's so it's your passion. It's so cool. Hey, I want to shift a little bit now to AI. I mean, AI is everywhere. You turn on the news, the radio, everything today, everyone's talking about AI. And in your world, obviously the application of AI and artificial intelligence is coming into trading solutions and the intersect of that finance and technology. Are you excited about that? Are you scared about that? What are you thinking about that?
I think I am very excited about that. But to be excited about that, you need to exploit the benefits of AI. So something that I have been doing recently, I don't think so that's available in public domain, but I am pursuing a separate course from another accredited university slash institution in India. It's called Quantitative. It's world's only recognized quantitative trading institute, which teaches you from scratch on how to trade using algorithmic strategies, machine learning, and the application of finance in that. So I think I'm very excited about this because it cuts out a lot of redundant tasks that used to happen. For instance, backtesting a normal strategy on 5 years on how that strategy has done was such a tedious task to do by an individual. Now you can go to ChatGPT, you can put, this is my strategy, give me the backtested returns for the 5 years. And it'll give you not only the results, it will forward test, back test, give you the results, make a report for you, will do everything for you. But you should know how to use it in the right way. And for that matter of fact, AI can translate into any other domain as well. And as I see, I follow a newsletter called Adepto AI, and it basically tells me on how every day new AIs are getting funding and how new AI startups are solving new problems. So we have thousands of startups coming up for research, for music, for voice, for transcribing, for just creating new images. I would say something that I'd encourage 15, 16-year-olds to 35-year-olds is get onto this AI cycle very quickly. Go out of your way to learn how to exploit these AIs. Do not make them, but whatever is available in the domain, use them to increase your productivity, improve your meaningful tasks that you're doing at a workplace or at any place.
Such great advice. And you're right, it's coming into every which way into our lives and staying on top of that, but also getting more involved and understanding it. And just as you were describing it in your world, in my world too, of recruiting and talent, it's augmenting the things that maybe we didn't want to do anyways, right? So so it's kind of it's a cool area to be looking at and it's definitely here. But thanks for sharing that because I was really curious about the space you're in. Cutting edge developments, quantitative training, maintaining physical wellness can also be challenging. How do you balance? And what advice do you have for students who are striving for professional and personal excellence in and also staying on top of all this stuff as you mentioned?
I think it's very simple. All of us, like all the humans, know what they should do. Like, if you want to lose weight, you need to eat less and you need to start exercising. If you want to get good grades, you better start studying early. I mean, these are the certain things which everybody knows. It's very common. It's not rocket science. I vehemently believe all these theories, motivational speakers, all of this is it's not required. If you sit down and you think, okay, what do I need to improve in my life? And you can start it. But the mantra to get those points is that's my mantra to do is one thing at a time. If
Yeah.
you think about, okay, I need to lose 10 kgs of weight, do my syllabus as well as go get a girlfriend, do everything, it's not going to happen. One step at a time is the mantra. So example would be that, for instance, I have two midterms and other exams coming up, and if I start thinking that I need to finish all of those syllabus tonight, it won't work. So what do? I break those tasks into meaningful small
Yeah.
task that I need to complete. For next 5 days, I'm going to complete 2 chapters per day, which will result in me completing my syllabus on day fifth. I'll have 2 days remaining to practice final papers and then go confident in my exam. So something that I'd recommend everyone to do is having a broader goal, break it into smaller tasks, and genuinely follow those steps and make a legitimate schedule. Not like, okay, you're gonna sleep for 4 hours wake up, run to the gym, do everything at time. Have it on your nature and suiting it to your needs. I think that would be managing professional and personal development.
This is great. I think you could be a motivational speaker as well, though, by the way. Just saying. Um, okay, let's talk a little bit about collaboration. And knowing your passion for team collaboration, it's evident. How do you incorporate that value into work, especially in roles that may involve independent tasks such as quantitative trading?
I think just collaborating is something which is a mandatory portion of everybody's life. And humans innately are social beings. Like the whole existence of humans come from the fact that we are social beings and we love to interact. But you need to understand that everybody might not react the same way you like. For instance, I like to eat biryani. Like, but you're not even heard of biryani ever, right? I cannot come up and order biryani and make you to eat it. Yeah, you will be more open to eating it if I decide to eat your dish, and in return I would be open to eating your dish and you'd be open to my eating this. I believe it's about cultivating those relationships, but through different approach tailored to different people. For instance, this semester I was fortunate enough to join a fraternity. It's called Beta Theta Pi at University of Toronto downtown, and that allowed me to understand how diverse our world is. Like, I got to understand what means for other people too. For instance, a simple hot dog has a lot more value for someone who's coming from America than to me. So I need to appreciate that and form a bond or connection over that. But it allows you to go out of your comfort zone. For instance, I cannot be hanging out with people all the time who have the same interests as me. I cannot be having the same friend group all over else. I'll have people who don't like what I like, but it's fine. So being meaningful, being thoughtful about what others like and tailoring your needs to them is, I think, something very important for those success. And I think that's something that definitely guides me whenever I go into the workplace. The first question is not about work, it's about how was your day. So, okay, you're in a bad mood, it's fine. And I think that's also a very important interview skill that you need to understand. Once you walk into the room and you see the other person is tired, you don't go with a very chubbly and smiley face and be like, hi, my name is this. You have to understand what the other person is going through as well. If he's sad, you might be lower your tone, ask them, hi, is everything all right? Do you want some time? Or it can be as small as those things. And that would make people feel special and in turn will help you feel special.
Really good advice, really good advice. Thank you for that. Um, so, talked a little bit about wellness earlier, but, academic, professional realms, you value your wellness. How do you stay healthy, both physically and mentally these days?
I think something that I have lost over, like, since my high school days is my consistency to going to the gym. But I was fortunate enough to have friends that have pointed out that you have been not been consistent in going to the gym. So taking that criticism is something that has allowed me to come back. So now what I'm doing is I'm basically managing my schedule in terms of not going to the gym every day, but at least being consistent 3 to 4 times a
Hmm.
week. In addition to that, I'm very passionate about football. So I basically have incorporated my fitness into football games. So at Monday at University of Toronto, we have drop-ins and anybody can come and play there. So I
Nice.
definitely go to those drop-ins or play football. But outside of that, I'd also say something that I've done lately to lose a lot of weight was water fasting. Water fasting is said to have numerous benefits, and I fasted for 7 days where I did not eat anything and I only drank water.
Oh, wow.
That allowed me to shed approximately 14, 15 pounds. And that basically set up the tone for me to stay healthier and, continue the journey which I originally like fell off from.
Yeah, and I think life changes, right? And I mean, I remember when I was around your age, I was going to the gym a lot, and now I incorporate other health things like walking, and instead of driving somewhere, I'll walk somewhere or whatever, right? If it's possible. So those things change during your life, but I think it's important, obviously, as you think too, like to keep yourself well and physical and mental wellness as you go through your day. I have to ask you, though, I think I saw a video of you. Do you can deadlift? Can you deadlift?
Yes, I can
How
deadlift.
much?
I'd say my one rep max was around 160 kgs. So
Wow.
that would be around, I don't know, 320 something.
That's
I think it's 1.2 times.
yeah,
So that's around roughly. Oh, I can't do the math, but I think it's around 300,
three,
300,
300. Yeah,
300,
I mean,
300.
because I do my research, right? When I'm,
Yeah,
even though I know all the guests, I do a little bit more research to see if I can introduce some things. But that's pretty impressive too, by the way. I
thank you.
was like, wow, that's cool. So, you know, is there anything, well, first of all, what's next for you?
I think something I'm definitely looking forward to is completing my program with Quantitative and having that tech side of the things as well in my portfolio. Second, I would say I'm definitely looking forward for my internship. As a second year student and the first time being on a trade floor at a big bank is a big opportunity for me. And last but not the least, I think over my years I've understood the art of making connections.
Mhm.
uh, a lot of people in the first year have misunderstood what networking is. Networking is a buzzword that's sold to you, and it's nothing but knowing people. Networking is as simple as that. Oh, I met Brian at one of the events and he was talking about this and we resonated on certain common points. That's it. So I think something that I look forward to is making genuine connections and knowing more people outside of just work, like knowing them. Oh, how's their family doing, what are their interests, and not knowing them. Oh, I know him because he works at X bank, or he's doing something. So I think those are few things that I look forward to.
Yeah, I thanks for bringing that up too, because I think it's such a big part of today's world, and it goes back to human nature of what you said earlier. People want to be around people. People want to be social. We're social animals for the most part. I mean, we get nervous sometimes and whatever, but even I remember like how I was at the school, and a lot of students will just hear me talk about something and they'll leave, where you and I engaged and talked and stayed in contact. And I often tell a lot of young people too, and people I meet along the journey is like, sometimes you might, come back in a year from now and be like, hey, what's going on? How you been? What's happening? And I might do that with you too, because I think you have a story to follow up on this podcast. But I think it's that natural occurrence that you find those common interests or those things that you each can learn from. It's a mutual beneficial relationship that way, which is really cool. So thank you for bringing that up. I know we discovered a lot of territory. You shared so much about your journey and all the information that a lot of these students and people listening to this podcast are going to really value. Is there anything we didn't cover that you wanted to share before we think to close out for today?
I think we hit most of the points that was there. But I
Okay.
think last but not the least, I just share the importance of having a strong friend group. I mean, something when all the things fall apart, when you're not getting job offers, when you're not getting any interviews, you're not getting those grades, you should always have people to talk to. And those small things really help you to get back. Like there were times in my career where I was losing money in trading, so my brother helped me. When at university I couldn't settle in, I met few friends who genuinely encouraged me to do things. When I was getting fat, my friends back from high school told me that you're not going back, like you're not the same person that you knew. So I think I'd say taking those feedback from these people and actually thinking about them is very important. And last but not the least, I'd say understanding how other people think, function, or why are they doing certain things also helps you to go out of, like, basically helps you become a superhuman. For instance, that in the beginning I mentioned that how something that differentiates me is how I think. For instance, I have friends who, if I tell them a small thing, they think a lot about it.
Hmm.
So how I see that situation is, why are they thinking so much about such a small thing that I wouldn't think about? And that actually opens up my mind a lot more, which allows me to take into different perspectives. I think that's it from mine.
That's amazing. And I think you've opened up a lot of minds today and a lot of hearts today, hearts and minds, to think about how they can embrace some of the things you shared. And I value doing this podcast so much, and the most reason I value it is because it's to give back, to have this type of opportunity for you all to share. And I'm glad we met. I'm glad you came into my world, and I look forward to staying in touch and seeing where you go from here. It's going to be an exciting path for you, and I wish you all the best.
Absolutely. And I just take a sincere moment to thank you for all the work that you do for so many students. And I think it's people like you that actually, spark up the change, because the first time I met you, it was the time which allowed me to think that, oh, is there a way I can also give back to the community? And so you opened up my mind in the beginning. That's why I'm here. And I hope so that my podcast would help someone else and they can think the same way. But I'd take a genuine moment to thank you for all the work that you do for
Thank
the
you.
community and for everyone else. And I know you have a pretty tough, busy schedule. And thank you so much for taking out the time and doing this with me.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a pleasure. And I know our guests are going to get a lot out of this and listeners. So for the guests and listeners, if you'd like what you heard today, please share this podcast on Spotify. And you can also follow us on Coffee with Convery. For now, that's it for today, but please stay well and stay in touch. Take care now.